Hey, how are you guys doing? This is going to be a continuation video from the last video where I taught you guys about sign distance field, SDF, and ray marching. Okay, now in this one, we're going to basically take the knowledge that you learned from the previous video and we're going to expand on that. In, in particular, we're going to discuss why the Univah Film Engine is necessary and what problems we aim to solve. In order to understand why the Univah Film Engine is so powerful, you need to understand what's going on in the industry right now. So we've got our friends called Weta Digital, and this is the company that typically renders most of the visual effects that you see in major films like Avatar. But it's really expensive. And as you saw in the previous screenshots, those those kinds of companies, they use offline rendering, of course, and they typically either work in specialized tools like the Weta digital tools, or they create these visual effects in Houdini, as you can see right now on the screen. And this workflow, I don't have to tell you, this workflow is not the best workflow, okay? So not only is the workflow slow, but the rendering is slow, the iterations are slow because it's not real time. Look at the viewport. Right now in the viewport, you're not seeing final quality rendering of the effect. You're seeing a gray, sort of blobby, and there's no textures, there's no materials. So that's typically what you're going to deal with when working with most legacy tools. Now, the Univah Film Engine was created to solve this problem. Visual effects on a Hollywood level is not a trivial thing to do. And when you're rendering films with heavy VFX, heavy water, lots of grass, lots of hair, uh, gigantic scenes with lots of explosions, and these are the effects that really take a long time to render. Now, Weta Digital, as advanced as they are, okay, with all their computers and CPUs running 24 hours a day to render films like Avatar, okay, uh, it ends up costing about $400 million dollars just for the VFX for a film. So if you go and Google how much did it cost Hollywood to render Avatar, I believe they said something around 460 million. So when we tell you, and that's just for one film, 460 million, and that's just for one film. Okay, that's on Google. You can Google that. So when we tell you that Univah solves a $1 billion problem, some of you, because again, you don't do any research, you may have thought, oh, that's an exaggeration. But when you're spending 400 million just to render one film, just to render the visual effects for one film, when you're spending 400 million just on one film, you can imagine all the other films, all the other things going on that are being rendered. It's not just like Hollywood makes one film a year, okay? There are other films. So we created the Univah Film Engine to have offline quality rendering in real time. So you get instant iterations, you get instant final quality rendering directly in the viewport. So I'm going to show you now how we create visual effects using Religion. In this case, we're going to go over the workflow for how to use sign distance field. Okay, and as you can see, I created two religion primitives. The small r next to the primitive just means it's a ray marched or religion primitive. So we have r cube or a religion cube, and we have a religion sphere, and that's what you see here in the UI. Notice how easy we've made this. Notice the huge difference in workflow compared to what I showed you earlier in Houdini. Okay, so this workflow in Houdini does not exist. This workflow in Blender does not exist. This workflow in Maya does not exist. And this video, if you want to hear the commentary on this video as I explain what I'm doing, of course, this video is already on our YouTube channel, and you can go and watch this tutorial, which is titled something like Hollywood, How to Make Hollywood Effects in Univah Pro. Okay, so you can go and watch this video in its totality, and you can see how I explain what I'm doing in the video as I do it. Okay, so this is just a commentary explaining why the Univah Film Engine is so powerful. And when we tell you that Univah solves a $1 billion problem, that is no exaggeration. All you have to do is go and ask Weta Digital how many rendering hours it took to render the visual effects for Avatar, and ask them how much this studio had to pay for that to be rendered. It's like $400 million. Okay. So when you total all of the films that are made a year, all of the rendering that's done annually for visual effects alone, it's well over $3 billion. Okay, it's well over $3 billion. And that's a problem because that's slow and that's expensive. Okay, so if we can focus all of our efforts to creating a real time motion graphics and visual effects software that is not only powerful, gives you offline rendering quality directly in the viewport, but it's easy to use so you don't have to play around with node graphs forever, gives you excellent quality water, offline quality rendering and water, all these things that are necessary in Hollywood. I believe that solves a gigantic problem. So, as you saw, what we're doing in this video is we're showing you how to use sign distance field operators in order to create the effects that you see done in Hollywood all the time. Okay, now we are using in this case the smooth union operator. And what I'm showing you is that we have a very simple UI that does very powerful things directly in real time. And you're not going to have to do any long setup times. You saw how very quickly we were able to get this effect going without touching a single node graph. And here's what's really going to blow your mind. When you create the effect, if you want to start doing like environmental, if you want to make it realistic and apply physically based rendering properties to the effect, it's really as simple as going again to the styles, switching to PBR, and then using the PBR settings just as you would with anything else. So that's what's really great about Univah. In a lot of different softwares like Blender, like Maya, like Houdini, if you ask the users how to do something, you're going to get like four different answers because there's always like 4 or 10 different ways to do something in Blender or in Cinema 4D. In Univah, everything is done the same way. Everything's done the same way. So there's only one place that you go to switch styles. There's only one place you go to change the PBR settings. There's only one place you go to change the color of an object. So everything has exactly one spot, one place, and everyone would do it the exact same way. That alone eliminates so much confusion. Okay, so that's something that you're really going to love about Univah. So take a look at this effect that we're recreating in Univah right now. Very quickly, we've applied metallic properties to this effect. And notice how it's all real time. We're changing it in real time. The iterations are instant. Everything is happening as we are dragging the object. So it's not like we have to refresh the viewport. We don't have to we don't have to go back to a node and change a node graph wiring. We don't have to spend 2 hours setting up PBR for this effect. We don't have to spend 30 minutes just to make the effect metallic. Everything is done instantly, just as you would with any other object. So the consistency in Univah is what a lot of professionals at at the highest Hollywood levels are really going to appreciate. Once they try this tool, we're not going to have a problem at all getting people to want to fund it so that it grows further. We're not going to have any issues with with money or with getting people to support this product. So our biggest bottleneck right now is just exposure. But once this product starts finding its way to people in Hollywood, and it already is, we've already had 2 guys in Hollywood that have seen our product. And so once we start getting this product in the hands of people that know the struggles of working in Houdini, and they know the struggles and how much it costs to render an effect by paying Weta Digital to render effects offline for hours. Uh, like, they're not going to be going back to that, okay? Because right now, in real time, look at what we're doing. I mean, look at this. Look at what we're doing. We are single handedly recreating the effect that was done in the Terminator. Okay. And again, this is why we showed you these videos. Maybe some of you didn't understand at first what you were seeing, but this is extremely powerful. This is perhaps one of the most powerful features in all of Religion VFX is this sign distance field. So when we showed you this, we were showing you simple examples because that's how you learn. We can't teach you SDF by going straight into how to create a giant fractal. That's not going to teach you the basics. First, wax on, wax off. You've got to learn the basics. So we teach you the basics, which is how to add operators, what those operators mean, what they do, how it affects the objects, which object is the driver for the effect. Those are the basics because once you understand that and you really understand it, then it compounds and you can build incredible things using simple knowledge. Okay, so right now, as you can see, we're showing you the scene from the Terminator, and that was done, I think, in the 90s, where the guy walks through the metal bars and you can see a smooth union effect happening with the guy and the metal bars. And that's what I'm literally recreating for you right now in real time. And that's why we made it metallic. We've made the bars metallic because the prison bars in Terminator are metallic. And so we're doing it very quickly here. And of course, what affects the lighting at this time, because as you noticed, I did not even add a light yet to the scene. So the only thing lighting the scene right now is the environment map. And as you can see, the environment map is an indoor sort of hotel room. Okay, so if we change that environment map, excuse me, the lighting of this scene will change drastically. Okay, so um, yeah, we're using only indirect lighting right now. We haven't added any direct light sources such as a directional light, spotlight, point light, area light. We haven't added any lights. We're using only the environment map to light the scene right now because for now, that is enough. Okay, so look at what's going on. I'm like I'm recreating this prison scene. I've got one bar going across, and then we've got those three bars. And I'm using this ball, this sphere, to represent the Terminator guy, okay, the evil Terminator guy. So, evil Terminator guy walks through the bars and blends and it bends. This bending that you see is like you guys saw and you're like, oh my God, this is magic. This is so amazing. Yeah, this is the foundation of SDF. So, you have to start learning the basics before you move on to more complex things like creating fractals and creating, because again, to create those fractals, you will be using smooth unions, you'll be using these operators. So when you combine these operators, you can create incredible things. And when you duplicate or multiply what you create, then that's how you create fractals. Okay, so when we're showing you these things in Univah Pro, uh, some of you, I guess it's going over some people's heads because maybe you're not familiar with sign distance field, but hopefully after watching these videos with me explaining and teaching you why this is powerful, why the industry needs Univah Pro, why we created this software, and understanding the gigantic and enormous cost of offline rendering for visual effects, understanding that alone should make you extremely excited that somebody cared enough to take on this project and to tackle a 1 billion, 2 billion, 3 billion, $40 billion problem. Because annually, that's what studios all over the world, not just in America, are spending to render the visual effects for their films. And they're going to Weta Digital, and that's why Unity tried to acquire Weta Digital. We've talked about this before. Unity 3D wanted to acquire Weta Digital because they are profitable. So, let's conclude the video. What have we learned today, guys? Good design is a solution to a problem. The Univah Film Engine was created to solve very specific problems. We have no interest in trying to match every single feature that Autodesk Maya has. We have no interest in trying to be in the games industry. We are not a game engine. We've said this from the beginning. We created a new category called Film Engine for filmmakers because we know the struggles that filmmakers have rendering their special effects, visual effects, motion graphics effects. We know it's very expensive, it's time consuming, it requires so much electricity. I mean, we are going to save studios money in almost every area. Thank you for watching.